Om Sri Ramanaya. Some question answers from Aham Sphurana, a glimpse of self-realization. Chadwick. After that final destruction, what is left? Bhagavan. The beyond, it is known as Parabrahman, means a supreme truth. It cannot be described. The mind cannot imagine it, yet it is your true self. Chadwick. So, our final aim is only this Parabrahma. Attaining it is called self-realization. Am I correct? Bhagavan. There is no attaining it. If the reflected consciousness is cleared away, only the original consciousness remains. Destruction of the reflecting phenomenon, namely the delusive ego mind, is the goal, or rather reveals the goal. That is self-realization. Chadwick. Once attained, can self-realization be lost? Bhagavan. The phraseology used should be clear. Even a glimpse of Brahma by the mind in the realm of subjective awareness can be called self-realization. Does it lead to freedom from rebirth or embodiment? No. A man cannot become a high officer merely by visiting one, making note of his educational qualifications and mimicking his costume. The exceedingly rare state of Sahaja Sthiti, means establishing or dwelling in Brahma, is available only to one who has no vrittis, means structures of the mind left in the mind. Desires, attachments, opinions, preferences, traits of personality, etc., etc., are all examples of vrittis. They cause pure subjective consciousness to spill over into the receptive realm of thought and trap one in the vicious cycle of births and deaths, that is, of embodiment. In those whose bondage is strong, vrittis are found to have impregnated themselves so strongly and deeply that they manifest as Vishyavasanas, means desires after sense objects. Vishyavasanas are difficult to eradicate because they carry a pretentious, duplicitous sense of legitimacy about them. For instance, if a man is starving, try to go and tell him it is all in the imagination. You will likely be placing yourself at the receiving end of a few well-aimed blows. Chadwick laughs. He said, but then surely the basic requirements of bodily sustenance, food, water, clothes, a modest roof over one's head, surely these can be considered reasonable? Bhagavan. Do not think that they are your requirements, they are the body's. Chadwick. I am not the body, yet it is my duty to take reasonable care of the body. Am I correct? Not all have the Herculean spiritual strength to throw themselves into an abandoned underground cellar filled with centipedes and rats and focus on the self only. Bhagavan. There is no need to fall into any cellar. If the body am I idea is given up, and one surrenders oneself unconditionally to the mercy of the higher power, then responsibility for the body's maintenance is automatically thrown on the higher power, and he carries on from there. You should not think I have the duty of taking care of the body. You have entrusted yourself to him. Leave everything, including the body, to him. He manages everything supremely well. His ways are mysterious, but in the end, job is done. Chadwick. I have heard Bhagavan saying that the total destruction of all vasanas is possible only in the final Sahajasthiti, means natural state. I have also heard him say that without such destruction being effected, the said state cannot be gained. It sounds paradoxical. Bhagavan. It is paradoxical on the spurious, apparently real level of the ego only. The ego is a self-contained illusion. When it goes away, you find that it never existed. Chadwick. I do not understand. Bhagavan, if Jiro's paradox of the race course were to be true, we should find it impossible to move from one place to another. Yet, so far as the paradox is concerned, it appears sincerely true when studied or considered in the isolated intellectual light. Is our day to day life experience compatible with the inference that is to be drawn from the paradox? Do we not find motion possible? Likewise, when pondered over using the intellect, the question of self realization is an annoying paradox. If the intellect is bypassed or transcended, only the realm of being remains. Therein no questions arise and only silence reigns. Om Shanti.